Welcome to the World Affairs Council of Austin's video on the Artsakh case. The Artsakh case involves the dispute between Artsakh and Azerbaijan over Artsakh's status as a sovereign state. This moot court case also tests the ICJ's jurisdiction authority. This video provides a deep dive into the region's complexities regarding the Artsakh case. Artsakh claims sovereign state status since 1991, supported by the 1920 Treaty of Sèvres. Azerbaijan's claim relies on the 1921 Treaties of Kars and Moscow. We analyze the legality of these later treaties. The Treaty of Sèvres, signed by the official Ottoman Empire in 1920, established self-determination. This is a key legal basis supporting Artsakh's claim to sovereignty since 1991. The Treaty of Kars, signed by the Turkish National Army and Soviet Russia in 1921, granted the territory including Artsakh to Russia. Azerbaijan's territorial claim relies on the legality of this treaty. The Treaty of Moscow, also signed in 1921, granted Turkey territory including Kars. Azerbaijan's claim to the area relies on this treaty's legality, which was signed 1 year after the Treaty of Sèvres. The Turkish National Army lacked official treaty authority until October 1923. Therefore, treaties signed before this date, such as the Treaties of Kars and Moscow, are legally invalid, as the army was not the legitimate government. To support this, we must research legal precedent cases focusing on treaty validity and the authority required for governmental entities to sign international treaties. The Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties defines a treaty as an agreement between authorized states. A treaty is invalid if signed against a state's internal law, meaning only duly authorized state representatives can sign valid treaties. Key articles of the 1969 Vienna Convention reinforce this. Article 2 defines a treaty as an agreement between states. Article 46 invalidates treaties signed in violation of a state's internal law regarding competence. In the Texaco versus Libya case, the arbitral tribunal ruled that contracts with private entities are not treaties under international law, emphasizing that only agreements between states qualify. The Aegean Sea continental shelf case reaffirmed that only agreements between states made by competent authorities constitute treaties. Attempts by unauthorized actors lack binding force. In the Eastern Greenland case, the Permanent Court of International Justice held that only officials with proper authority could bind a state. Statements or agreements by individuals without competence were invalid treaties. Scholar John Clabbers notes that treaties signed without proper authority are void ab initio because they fail the basic definition of a treaty under international law. Artsakh's sovereignty grants it exclusive authority over its nationals. Azerbaijan lacks legal jurisdiction to prosecute Artsakh citizens, and trials in Baku violate international law and sovereign immunity. Unauthorized treaties are void. Private groups cannot legally sign binding international treaties. ICJ precedent consistently rejects treaties not signed by authorized states, failing to meet the Vienna Convention definition. This concludes the initial overview of the Artsakh case by the World Affairs Council of Austin. The core of the Artsakh case hinges on the invalidity of treaties signed without proper authority. The conflict juxtaposes international law and treaty validity against military actions and territorial claims. An attack on a sovereign nation is considered an illegal invasion, violating international law and state sovereignty. This act is not classified as a civil war or rebellion. Artsakh has claimed sovereign status since 1991. The 1920 Treaty of Sèvres established its self-determination rights, providing a legal basis that shields it from legal invasion by an external power. As a sovereign entity since 1991, Artsakh's institutions hold proper jurisdiction over its citizens. Its citizens cannot be prosecuted under Azerbaijan's domestic law. A sovereign state holds exclusive domestic jurisdiction. Artsakh's sovereign status means its citizens are not subject to Azerbaijan's domestic law, a right reinforced by the 1920 Treaty of Sèvres. The 1933 Montevideo Convention defines sovereignty based on 4 criteria: permanent population, defined territory, government, and capacity to enter relations with other states. Artsakh historically met these criteria. In the Nottebohm case, the ICJ emphasized genuine links between a state and its nationals. Similarly, Artsakh's citizens had genuine links to Artsakh's institutions, not Azerbaijan's. The arrest warrant case reaffirmed sovereign immunity, limiting one state's right to prosecute officials of another. Azerbaijan's prosecution of Artsakh citizens infringes upon Artsakh's sovereign immunity. The jurisdictional immunities of the state case held that states enjoy immunity from foreign jurisdiction. By analogy, Artsakh citizens cannot be subjected to Azerbaijan's courts. The Kosovo advisory opinion found that declarations of independence are not prohibited under international law. Artsakh's assertion of independence means its citizens fall under Artsakh jurisdiction. The East Timor case reaffirmed self-determination as an erga omnes right. Artsakh's people possess this right, thereby undermining Azerbaijan's claims of rebellion or terrorism. Azerbaijan's charges against Artsakh citizens presume Artsakh is part of Azerbaijan. However, international law and ICJ precedents support Artsakh's sovereignty and right to self-determination. ICJ jurisprudence on jurisdictional immunities clearly demonstrates that Azerbaijan lacked the legal standing to prosecute Artsakh citizens. The trials in Baku violate international law. In conclusion, Artsakh's sovereignty and self-determination rights place its citizens under its own jurisdiction. International case law invalidates attempts by a foreign state to prosecute nationals of a sovereign entity without consent. This section provides additional context and information related to the case. Sovereign immunity prevents a state from being subjected to another state's jurisdiction without consent. Azerbaijan's military offensive and subsequent trials violate this principle, as Artsakh exercised sovereign functions. In September 2023, Azerbaijan launched a large-scale military offensive in Nagorno-Karabakh. This was an illegal cross-border military invasion of a self-governing entity, resulting in mass displacement. Sovereign immunity means a state is protected from being tried in foreign courts for its official acts. This is codified in customary international law and reaffirmed by the ICJ. The jurisdictional immunities case affirmed that sovereign immunity stands even against grave allegations. Therefore, Artsakh officials and citizens are immune from prosecution under Azerbaijani law for official acts. The arrest warrant case ruled that state officials enjoy immunity from foreign jurisdiction. Artsakh officials cannot be indicted by Azerbaijan for offenses like terrorism or rebellion. Scholarly consensus affirms that sovereign immunity is a cornerstone of international relations, ensuring states are not judged by foreign courts for official acts. Azerbaijan's trials of 23 Artsakh officials and citizens for terrorism, rebellion, and treason presume Artsakh is part of Azerbaijan. Under international law, sovereign immunity shields Artsakh's officials and citizens from prosecution by Azerbaijan. ICJ jurisprudence, such as the Germany versus Italy and arrest warrant cases, confirms that sovereign acts cannot be criminalized by another state's courts. Therefore, the Baku trials are illegal under international law, impugning Artsakh's sovereign immunity and violating the principle of self-determination. The 2023 Azerbaijani offensive was an invasion of a sovereign entity, not a rebellion. Sovereign immunity protects Artsakh's officials and citizens from prosecution.